Hello po muli sa inyong lahat. Isang magandang Lunes, April 26, 2021. Ito po ang inyong lingkod, Benji Chodoro. Nag-aanyaya na samahan ninyo ako sa isa namang edisyon ng The Stock Market Today. Ako po isang retired bank officer na nagsimula mag-invest sa Philippine stock market noong 2007 at ginagawa ko itong report araw-araw which is started last August noong nakaraang taon. I also report the latest news on your favorite and most active stocks, and if you like the content, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. At kung meron kayong stocks in mind that you want to be reviewed, please comment in the comment box and I will prioritize. Ang news po natin ay tungkol sa financials ng BDO at PNB at ang resulta ng trading sa ating Philippine Stock Exchange ngayong araw, April 23, 2021 dito lamang po sa The Stock Market Today. Tignan po natin ang nangyari sa Philippine Stock Exchange Index. And let's put up our indicators. Now, the news item, I will be discussing it as we go along. But first, before I start with the index, I'd like to thank Jose Macaldo and Sariel Cellphone or Sariel CP who requested who requested for MA and FPH. Sariel, I think this is Junjun. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali. So, thank you, Junjun. Kung ikaw nga yan. Okay, so let's start with the index. The index gained 11.31 points, almost flat, pero nag-gain lang siya ng konting-konti to end at 6389.38 with net foreign buying at 700.13 million. Well, it's net foreign selling rather at 700.13 million. It is resting at support level at 6390 to 6400 yung pinakamalapit na support niya. The next support after that would be here at 62. 62 na yung next support niya, 6200. And if you take a look at the market summary, 116 companies declined, 87 advanced, while 42 remained unchanged. On the all-share index, it declined by 0.08, actually almost flat. 3.09 lang yung gain. Konting-konti lang. And on the sectoral indices, the gainers, mining led the gainers at 3.8%, followed by the financials at 1.13%. The holding companies and the industrials lost today. Ngayon, yung most active stocks natin, we will be reviewing the request of Jose Macaldo and Mr. Sarial. So we'll be reviewing MA, FPH, Ali, Dito, SMPH, SM, BDO, JGS, PNB, and MEC. We have news nga pala on BDO and PNB. But before we proceed with review of the most active, let me share with you one article which I saw at Philstar. Ang title niya is "Oh Israel." It's an article written by Bu Chanko, Demand and Supply. Ang sabi niya dito, the first light at the end of this COVID tunnel is coming from Israel, according to the Washington Post. Israel is now partying like it's 2019. With most adults vaccinated against coronavirus and restrictions falling away, including the lifting this week of outdoor mask requirements, Israelis are joyously resuming routines that are disrupted more than a year ago and providing a glimpse of what of the future could hold for other countries. Oh, Israel, how did you guys do it? We are still in limbo. The best guess for us puts 2 more years of aimless wandering in the COVID desert. Maganda yung pagkakanyang sulat. Of course, it will be pointed out that Israel has only 9 million people. Metro Manila is at least 12 million, and the so-called NCR Plus bubble is easily 15 million. The whole country is over 110 million. Looks like our officials have a good excuse for being laggards in this battle against an invisible virus, but not good enough, despite the very destructive politics of Israel having its 4th national election in 2 years. They knew who the enemy was. It was the COVID virus and not other Israelis. According to the Washington Post, the rate of new infections has plummeted from a peak of almost 10,000 a day to about 140 And the number of serious coronavirus cases in many hospitals is down to single digits. Wow, that's great news. So, sana magawa natin ang nagawa ng Israel. The emergency COVID-19 ward at Shiva Medical Center at Tel Aviv resumed duty as a parking garage, and waiting rooms are suddenly flooded with non-COVID patients coming from long-deferred treatments. But Israeli health officials are quick to note that the pandemic is not over. They are worried about the variants. There is also the possibility of outbreaks in schools, where most students are too young to be vaccinated. Still, Israel is showing that other nations can expect it if they can keep on vaccinating. Almost 90% of the most vulnerable cohort and those 50 and older fully inoculated, experts say hospital ICU units are now shielded from being overwhelmed, as most happened earlier in the pandemic. So that's our article on how Israel was able to contain, and they are almost back to normal. So sana magaya natin yung model ng Israel. So let's now go back to the Philippine Stock Exchange Index. Okay, so let's now go to our review of the active stocks. So let's take a look first at MA. Ngayon, mining kasi is the top gainer for the past several days already. And so let's take a look at Manila Mining. Okay, Manila Mining gained a fraction of a centavo, that's 0.001 today, to end at 1.40 centavos, that's 7.69%. This is one of the penny stocks in the index kasi a very slight movement in the price would cause a large percentage of increase, as in the case here. And it has been moving upwards in the past few days since the announcement of the lifting of the moratorium on mining contracts. So technically speaking, it has been on consolidation for a long time, since February, early January or February of this year. And sumipa lang siya noong April 16, then April 19. Tapos ngayon, it has been moving within the 1 centavo to it went as high as 1.5 centavos. So yun yung pinaka-highest niya. So right now, I would say that the nearest support of Manila Mining would be here at, nandito siya sa 1.18 centavos. Yes, it's 1.18 centavos as the nearest support. Actually, maaaring support area na ito yung closing price na 1.4 centavos. And the nearest resistance would be here at 1.5 centavos. So dyan, maaaring maglaro yung kanyang presyo. And the movement is still bullish since our RSI is at 69.69. So if you want to play the range, yan po yung sinasabi kong support and resistance. You buy on support, sell on resistance. That is my take on Manila Mining. Pero I'm not so keen with mining stocks. If you ask me, I'm not so keen with mining stocks. Okay, so let's take a look at the next stock, FPH. Okay, FPH lost 40 centavos to end at 67.40. It's bearish. So here we have a resistance or the support level. Actually, this is already in support. Yan siya. Nasa 66.80 to 67 pesos ang support level ni FPH. So when I talk of support and resistance, these are not actual points, but these are areas. And the nearest resistance, let's place it at MO100. Nasa 70.80 to 71 pesos ang nearest resistance niya. But the sentiment of FPH is bearish because the RSI is a bearish number at 38. So that's my take for FPH, technically speaking. Then, let's now go to the regular stocks. Ali. Okay, now Ali ended still with the red candlestick, but it's green here since the closing price is 30 centavos higher than the Friday's closing. Kaya po to green. So actually, it's almost ended flat with the support of Ali here at 32. Nearest support ni Ali. And the nearest resistance, let's place it here at 35. 35 yung nearest resistance. 35 to 36 resistance ni Ali. Bearish ang sentiment. And then, dito mukhang bearish din to. Still moving sideways, but more on the bearish side, no? Because support level at 9:20 to 9:30, while the resistance, ang pinakamalapit niya is, let's take the EMA 50 as resistance at 11.6 to 11.7. Yun po yung nearest resistance level. Moving bearish to sideways, si dito. And then SMPH. Okay, SMPH ended with a red candlestick today. It's almost ended flat, also just like our index. Ended at 34.90, but the support of SMPH is here at 34.10 to 34.20. Near support po yan, ni SMPH. Okay, may dividends po siya na 8.20 centavos. And payment date is May 19. Now, resistance of SMPH is here at 37 to 37.10. And then SM. Okay, SM also ended with a red candlestick. It's resting on support, which is at 950 to 960. Support level po yung 958 na closing price niya. Sentiment is still bearish, and RSI is at 33.79, which is also bearish. And then let's have BDO. BDO, may news tayo dito. Okay, it closed higher by 20 centavos at 105.20. So 105 yung closing price no Friday, with support at 100 to 101. The resistance is 110 to 112, yung nearest resistance ni BDO. In the meantime, let me share with you the financials of BDO. Alam niyo, kumita si BDO sa first quarter, and medyo maganda yung kanyang financials niya, no? Yan, no? BDO quarter 1 net profit rises 19% on non-interest income. So, the bread and butter actually of banks is interest income because of the loans. So BDO Unibank said it booked a 10.4 billion net profit in the first quarter, up 19% from a year earlier, buoyed by a strong non-interest income performance. Ito yung mga commissions, fees, trading gains. Nestor Tan, the bank's president and CEO, said at the bank's annual meeting Friday that net interest income fell 3% year-on-year to 32 billion due to weak loan demand and lower net interest margins. This was offset by a 21% increase in non-interest income to 15.4 billion. The bank also booked a 31% rise in insurance premiums from its life business, as well as trading gains posted this period following a year earlier trading loss. So this was trading gains and commissions, no? And service charges or charges. Loans fell 1% to 2.18 trillion, with non-performing loans ratio to 2.81% in the first quarter, rising from the 2020 level of 2.65%, but below the industry average of 3.67%, Mr. Tan said. BDO had a bad loan coverage ratio of 107% at the end of March against the 110% in 2020, but the industry average of 95%, but above the industry average of 95%. He added, operating expenses rose to 31.1 billion from 30.5 billion a year earlier. The bank earlier set aside 2.9 billion in loan loss provision in the first quarter, up 30% from a year earlier. So that's our news on BDO, that the net profit rose 19% because of non-interest income. So let's now go to the next stock after BDO. So let's take a look at JGS. Okay, JGS continued to move down, and as you know, it is the lowest level since March or June 2020. That was the last level that it reached, 51.55, and medyo cheap na po ang JG Summit, ano? And I think it's time to buy. So the next support level of JG Summit, I would place it here at 43 pesos to 44 pesos ang nearest support ni JG Summit. Pero 51.55 is already very cheap. And the sentiment is bearish since our indicators, the moving averages, are above the candlesticks. And yung ating RSI is at 25.84. Oversold na po si JG Summit. So, time to buy actually. Because JG Summit, minsan-minsan lang po ito mag-oversell. No? The last one was January 21 when it fell by 8.16%. Now it fell by 4.36%. The last oversold was pandemic time pa ito, March 20 yung second last oversold niya. This is the third oversold since the first one in March 2020. So the first one was March 20, the second one was January 2021, and this is the third oversold. Yan. Yan po yung sa JG Summit. Dito hindi 30 lang eh. Ito oversold na siya. So, soon to bounce itong si JG Summit. And the sentiment is still bearish, but since oversold dyan, soon, very soon yung turnaround dito. And then after JG Summit, let's have PNB. Okay, PNB had a breakout. And meron siyang volume. It is the breakout after a long while, no? Because the previous breakout was here at November 2020 pa. So it is the highest. This is the highest level since March 5, or more than a month, or about 2 months ago. Normally, what happens in a breakout is that it either continues up or nagko-consolidate muna bago tumuloy pataas. So maaring tumaas yan or mag-consolidate muna siya dito. Yan po ang nangyayari sa pagka nag-breakout ang isang stock. Near support, actually, nandito siya. Nasa 2280 yung near support niya. Pero the previous resistance level was broken. Nandito yung resistance level at 25 pesos. Nasa 25.90 na siya. Ngayon, yung next level na pwedeng nating tingnan as the next resistance, actually, nare-reject siya dito sa level na ito. Nasa 26.60 to 27 pesos ang resistance niya currently. So, abangan po natin ang susunod na kabanata kay PNB. Medyo bullish si PNB because the RSI is now at 77, nearing the overbought level. In the meantime, let me share with you the news on PNB. Probably ito yung catalyst niya. Itong property dividends. You know? Medyo unusual. Very rare itong property dividends. First time ko ito nakita since I was doing the report last August. First time ako makakita ng property dividend. And sa isang bangko pa. So there are three kinds of dividends: the cash, the stock dividend, and the property dividends. So this time, ang property na binibigay niya is a stock of their affiliate or subsidiary. So tingnan natin yung news item ni PNB. So probably this is the catalyst. PNB to issue property dividends to stockholders. The board of directors of the PNB has approved the declaration of shares of PNB Holdings Corporation. Ito yung didistribute ng property dividends as property dividends effective May 18, 2021. In a disclosure to the PSE on April 23, PNB announced that the bank declares PNB Holdings Corp. shares as property dividends to the stockholders of PNB on record as of May 18, 2021. Earlier this year, PNB obtained regulatory approval to make additional investments in PNB Holdings Corporation in exchange for certain properties of the bank. Investment into PNB Holdings and dividend declaration are two important phases of the bank's strategic initiative to recognize the unrealized value of three major properties, namely the PNB Financial Center in Pasay, the PNB Makati Center in Ayala Center Central Business District, and the prime property at the corner of Buendia Avenue and Pasay de Rojas, also in Makati. PNB is also pursuing plans to reduce its low-earning assets. To build up its financial position, PNB Holdings increased its authorized capital stock to reflect the value of the three prime properties. The timing of the development of these properties are already being studied by the real estate experts who are already working closely with PNB Holdings Corp. and PNB, said PNB President and CEO Vic Veloso. Property dividends. And by the way, Vic Veloso is a friend. Actually, dati kong office mate yan nung nasa foreign bank pa tayo. Bago pa lang ako sa bangko nun. Or medyo 3 or 4 years hindi pa ako officer, I think, sa bangko nun. Or officer na ako. I was a junior officer and Vic was a trader in Treasury. Treasury operations po ako before. So that's news on PNB. So after PNB, our last stock would be MEG. Okay, MEG had a bounce. Very slight bounce. And nag-bounce siya dito sa area to because the resistance level is here at 278, but it appears to be going the other way already since there's a green candlestick. May news ba tayo dito? Okay, wala. But there was a green candlestick today. But still, the sentiment is bearish since hindi siya engulfing green candlestick. But this is a good sign that the stock may probably is turning around. The price is turning around. Pero RSI is still bearish at 36.115. Sentiment is still bearish, but if we see another green candlestick in the following days, then we may say that the stock may have reversed in trend. Yan po ang ating report sa stock market, April 26, 2021, Monday. Ito po si Benji Chadoro, reminding you, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagtangkilik at pagsubaybay. And see you again in our next episode. God bless. Bye for now.